Wagwan ENT.
My whole experience with the Rolling Stones was through Peter Tosh. Because when Peter was signed to the Stones, again, remember I told you I left Jamaica and go to America to live. So when Peter was signed to the Rolling Stones, Jeffrey Chung working with him, Mikey Chung, Sly, Robbie. So it's this, and Robbie Lynn, Sticky. So, and then after, when the sessions were over now, me personally started to get involved in certain things. Like, you know what I mean? Like, hang out with the guys and start drink and party, excess. So me be hanging out with a couple of the guys at the Stones, with a couple of the guys, with Earl Chin. Earl came up with the idea, and him and Keith and Ronnie Ranwood came up with the idea to do an album with Bobby Keys, which is a sax man with the Stones. And Bobby has been around from Buddy Holly, Elvis, Elton John, Nick, So we decided to do an album using the best people, reggae musicians, with myself producing. And plus me and Earl Chin were co-executive producers. I mean, so where we spend the money. So we come to Jamaica and we start the project with using Willie Lindo, Bubbler, Mikey Boo, Robbie Lynn. The top session guys at the time at Dynamic Sounds, I remember. And then when we left, we went to LA after to overdub. And it was quite exciting because the studio was Devonshire. And that studio, I remember, had like 5 different studios on the complex. There was Diana Ross and Lionel Richie was in one studio doing Endless Love. Dolly Parton was in one studio. Weather Report, remember that group, was in one studio, and we were in one. B.B. King was in one. So it was, but once we were there, and everybody wanted to be involved in the reggae session. So everybody, hung out in our studio. So, and we use on players from Booker T and MG. Like Steve on, all of those guys, you know what I mean? And then we end up doing, because all of that was happening, we end up, what's his name, Steve Crapper was hanging out with us, and Bobby Womack, Duck Dunn. The album has been mainly instrumental so far, except for 2 tracks, which was done by a guy named Jerry Williams, the songwriter. But right now, I like it finished still. So the Stones Incorporated, the Stone Association with this project has been just, they involve but not the drummer, nor the bass player. It was mainly Ronnie and Keith, and then Mick was giving his blessing along the way. Which is really a Bobby Keys album.
What kind of music did you play while you were in Trinidad?
I was a steel band man. Used to play the pan. No guitar.
What type of music did you listen to when you were younger?
Well, those days they only had one radio station, the American radio station. Used to play country and western music.
Did you have some sessions recorded and released in Trinidad before you moved to Jamaica?
I record 2 songs with a group called the Docu Brothers.
How did you move from Trinidad to Jamaica? When was it?
The Docu Brothers had 2 contracts, one to go South America and one to go Jamaica. They couldn't make the 2 of them because they were on the same date. So they gave me 1 contract to go Jamaica, up the West Indian Islands to Jamaica, Bahamas, and back. And they went South America. That's how I ended up there in Jamaica.
Oh, okay. When you moved to Jamaica, what type of music was mainly played in Jamaica?
Ska.
How did you get involved in the recording business in Jamaica?
Well, the managers of that came from Trinidad stole the money for our band and they took off. And I say I am not going back to Trinidad without any money. And Byron Lee put me in the sheet. He put the drummer in Lance Terrell in Montego Bay. He put the bassist and the vagabonds and they split us all up. I stayed in Kingston with the sheet.
When was it that you went to Jamaica?
1963, I think. for Jamaica independence.
Okay. According to Gladdy Anderson, it was you and he that made the first rocksteady rhythm. How did it happen?
Well, Gladdy was there. Gladdy was there with me all the time because of one thing. My accent of speaking like a Trinidadian in Jamaica was very cute to Jamaicans. There is a small island guy then talk cute. So Gladdy used to talk for me. I used to tell Gladdy, and Gladdy do the talking and counting the band and practice the singer. That's how I met. That's how I get to know Gladdy very good. You know, it's in a recording session by Duke Reed, which Lloyd Nibbs is the one carrying me out by Duke Reed, the drummer from the Scatterites. He carried me there for the first session.
Gladdy also mentioned that your way of playing the guitar was very unique and musically distinct from other guitarists. What made you very peculiar guitarist in those days?
I had an accent from Trinidad. That was the first thing, called it fresh from Trinidad. But himself is like, yeah, still fresh from Trinidad. And many of the guitarists in Trinidad used to use a vibrato handle on the guitar and double notes and everything. So I just dropped that into the song, which is my heritage. I didn't do it purposely, just as a Trinidad, let me do it. So I didn't know it would kick off. You know.
Which session was your first session, and who was producer at the session?
Oh boy. I don't know. I think Shankar Sheikh, I can't remember the producer, but I think Shankar Sheikh was the first hit, so to speak, hit with Iron Baba Brooks. But I was playing before with Tammy and Roland, the Scatterlights, but in the background, not featured, so to speak, in the background.
What is rocksteady for you?
What it is?
Yeah. What to you? What is it?
Is the music. That's all I can say about rocksteady. Is like reggae or jazz. It's a piece of music. Rocksteady is a slow version of ska. Rocksteady is just the ska. You just slow it down to a certain tempo, and that's rock. It's not like reggae.
What's the difference between rocksteady and reggae?
There's a big difference between rocksteady and reggae. Most musicians don't know it. Rocksteady, if you're writing the music, it's in common time. If you're doing reggae, it's in cut time. Common time is ordinary for but it's in reggae now it's boom, 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 boom. 2, 3, 4, it's a different writing to it because of the phrase. You know. I don't know. Different. All right. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. All right. La 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 la. All right. La 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 la.
Wagwan ENT.